Is going on, guys? Welcome to today's episode of the Collecting Keys Real Estate Investing Podcast. I apologize if you sound a little bit weird today, but Dan and I are recording here on site at our KeysCon 2024 event. And we're awkwardly set up in this really sick Airbnb that we got in Palm Springs. And we've tried to piece together it's super nice place, but because we're not video and audio professionals, we have people to do that for us. We have like our phones connected to a couple different microphones. And so hopefully it sounds so good, because if it doesn't, then you probably won't hear this, but that's okay. But we are down here for our KeysCon event. If this is the first time to the show, this is the podcast featured to make massive income, not just passive income, with your real estate investing business. And KeysCon is an event that we put on every year for our Scale community members, which is basically a 2.5 day deep dive / workshop into their business. And we have a whole bunch of different topics we're going to be covering down here. So I'm super, super excited. The last one that we had, I mean, it was a game changer for a lot of our members. Like, how many people have either scaled immensely or left their W-2s or stuff since we did that one? Probably at least half the attendees, if not more.
Yeah, we are looking back to just hey, what were the intentions of the last folks, and then where are they today, just to kind of show the 2024 attendees, if you set proper intentions and you actually follow through with what you're learning, you can actually make huge leaps. And I think everybody made huge leaps in their business, and I just picked 4 random people and left their W-2 job, had never done flips or wholesaling. We got guys doing multiple flips and wholesaling. Tons of stuff going on. It was pretty impressive to actually take some time to look back, because we hadn't done that before.
Yeah. And I think it helped us kind of build the curriculum for this one as well, because the last one was our first one. This is our second one. We plan to continue doing these in the future. But the great thing is about going to, I would say, repeated events, right, is if your hosts are good, which I like to think we're proactive, we can build out a better curriculum every single time, better workshops, better focus on things. We also have a guest speaker that came down this time, which is Cody Cressy, who's our local partner in Spokane, who helps us close a lot of deals and does our acquisitions for us there, to actually lead the sales portion instead of us leading it from a managerial view. He's going to be leading it from a boots on the ground view and doing a lot of the soft skills and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it should be good. And what we did this time, just like we did last time as well, is we built out the curriculum and stuff we're going to be going through based off of what the specific people coming wanted to see. And so it's a custom built sort of setup, and it's not something that I don't know, we're going to have just scripted and built out, which is going to get very, very stale very quickly. So
yeah, and that wouldn't be fun for us either, right? It's a lot of times you go to these events and it's generic, right? It's oh, you come to that event to get these things and you're not getting anything other than that. So if you needed something else, you're not getting it. We try to keep a base, but then also have hey, here's something that everybody said they needed, or only a few people said they needed. So we want to add that in to make sure you can truly scale your business, because that's the goal here.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're going to be, let's see what's in the first day. The first day we start with some mindset and goal setting stuff in the morning, which will be really, really good, and sort of going through, company org charts and seeing where exactly you should be working in your business. Are you actually working the parts that align with your strengths? What pieces should you be looking to, hire out sort of sooner rather than later to help you grow? That'll be the morning. And then we're doing the afternoon. I can't remember. The afternoon is the pipeline review. How we manage?
Yeah, afternoons, where we kind of give out the playbook to how we've been successful from a pipeline, because that's something you can standardize, right? And we have built, over the years, kind of evolved and built our pipeline management. So you'll be talking a lot about that and the different KPIs we're following and the different ways that we are actually trying to close more deals, squeeze more juice out of the marketing we've got.
Exactly, and taking a focus on actually learning how to work the leads that you have, and not just generate them and wait and see, right? So, or just thinking that you constantly need to generate more, because one of the biggest areas where people tend to drop the ball in this business is they don't work the leads they've already paid for. And if you're doing targeted marketing, which you recommend, then there's a whole process around how you should be approaching every single person that calls in or engages with your company. And so the afternoon, we're going to be focusing on how we standardize that with us and our team. And then Saturday morning, it's going to be all Cody talking about sales. We're going to be doing some sales training, some little group exercises. We're going to actually have people making sales calls on site here, so they can be getting their feet wet and getting some peer-to-peer reviews on their sales calls.
That scares you. That's been a fan favorite for people that attend. So if you're scared about it, it should be, but it's also a fan favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a vulnerable place to be when you're sitting amongst a group of your peers and you're being put on the spot to make sales calls. Because, if you've ever made follow-up calls before, even if they're like fresh leads, right? You don't know if that person's going to be receptive, if they're going to chew you out the second that you get on the
Yeah.
phone.
You never know
Yeah.
what they're going to say in front of people and how you're going to react in front of like your peers.
Yeah, but that's also how you get better, right? And so that'll take up the morning on Saturday, and then Saturday evening or afternoon, I guess we're going to be going into how to maximize the potential of all the leads that come through. So looking at different monetization methods, looking at how to determine the actual like true value opportunity of the different deals that come through, and like when does it make sense to wholesale versus flip versus do innovation versus buy it as a rental, and how to figure out that cash flow problem with your business, because that's also another very common thing that happens. And then we'll be finishing out with a 12-week accountability exercise where everyone's going to be taking everything they've learned throughout the weekend, building it into actual actionable steps that they can use to go home and, not just like leave with a fuzzy feeling of like, I feel like I got a lot of that, but they actually have homework of what they need to do to actually move things forward at that point.
Yeah, totally. Like, yeah, get out of, once you're out of the church camp or whatever people call it mindset, you need to have something tangible to follow up with, because you can get home and by the time people's land get back to the swing of thing on Monday, you come to an event like this, they just lose it all. They maybe do one thing that they learned, or they don't do any of it. So what we found to be successful is like building out. We kind of give a framework and a structure how to do this, because we did, and we're doing all the same shit, right? That we're teaching, right? And so we've done it all, and so we give kind of our advice and build that framework of how to do this for the next 90 days, how to be successful, because that's like the most crucial time when you pay to come to a place like this. That's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck, is that first quarter, honestly, after you attend an event like this, and most people waste it. We don't let people do that.
Yeah, I mean, and the big focus that we have as well with this is we want things to be actionable, right? Like come here, because so many people put on these big events, and sure, you can, I mean, this is a pretty luxury spot, so I'm not going to say it's not like a luxurious sort of thing. It's like these places are sick and it'll be a really fun time, but there's so many people that put on these events and like, oh, we're like going here, we're like going yachting, we're going on jet skis, we're going to do whatever. It's like, and you're going to get to talk business with people. It's going to cost you $5,000 to come to like a weekend in Mexico to do all this stuff. That's awesome. Like it's a great sort of fun, memorable thing, but that isn't what's going to make you a millionaire in the next year, right? Probably not. Like it might for like a couple people there, but our goal is that for every single person that comes here, that they're going to be able to look back over the next 12 months and be like, KeysCon was an event that literally changed the course of my business and my life going forward. And then they can go on all the luxurious vacations they want to at that point, right? Instead of like having to stretch to doing one time to get to go and do like a super high end sort of whatever experience. Make it so that's not even a big deal, and you can just do that whenever you want in the future.
Totally. And like the way to think about it is like you come to like an event like KeysCon, and like you said, you earn your next level, right? And so the goal here, we're in the scale community. KeysCon is kind of like our capstone event for helping people scale wherever you're at in your business. If you're doing 5 deals a month, you want to get to 10. If you're doing 1 deal a month, you want to get to 5. Like wherever you're at in your business, we're giving you the framework to scale, so that then you're right. Like you can go to those events where it's like, hey, we're going on the yacht, we're having fun, but you show up with the intention of like, my goal is to meet one person here to give me one fresh idea. Right. Those are different events. You and I go to events like that where like we're paying to go there to be around people, hoping that we get one really good nugget. Here, it's building that base so that you can and you do those other things.
Exactly. And we'll ultimately want people to have like a roadmap to what exactly they need to do, what the next phase needs to look like. And it's all just like planned out. And if they don't do it, it's only on them. It's not that they didn't know what to do, so that they chose not to act on it. And at that point, I don't know. We can't really help you anymore.
So, can't help you. Sorry.
Yeah. So anyways, if you are interested in coming to the next KeysCon event, these are exclusive for Scale members for right now. We've talked about doing like a wider one, but I don't know if our audience is quite big enough for that, or if I want to deal with like the larger event, maybe at some point in the future. But if you're interested in it for right now, go to collectingkeys.com/scale and apply for the Scale community, and you can maybe come to the one in 2025. So anything else super pressing you want to dive into on the business?
Well, I guess what is happening in the business? We've been gone. I've been getting some Slack messages even while we're recording about things taking place. I mean, this is kind of the nice place, and this is what we talk about, of like scaling, getting to the point to where, like you don't have to be in the business every day. Like you and I are in the business every day, but we can also now take time away. I mean, you look at it compared to when we started. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a solopreneur in this business, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. Is like where if you leave, money doesn't come in. Like
Yeah.
if you leave and you're not connected to your cell phone, like something's not going to happen. A title company, you're going to miss their call. A deal's not going to close. Seller's going to lose their mind. You lose a $20,000 fee,
Mm-hmm.
or a contractor's going to just not show up because you're not there on their ass, making sure they're doing their job. And so like we've gotten there now where we can take a week off. We can do things like this and not really stress. Obviously, we're still connected if people need us for emergencies, but like that's the goal of scaling. And so it's like, things are happening in the business. I don't know what's going on. What are we doing? What are we doing right now that we
The
aren't
great thing
doing?
is I don't actually have any idea. I know we've gotten a couple of contracts this week. Cody got one this morning for us in Spokane. We got another one out in the Southeast, I think last night when we were on the plane. We have people that are already going to be taking those and starting to figure out the dispo and exit strategy. Our TC will take over from there, and our dispo manager will start working the leads. And I mean, our job is just to, I guess, keep things on track if things get weird, and, keep bringing more members into scale and keep working on, we're at the point right now where the goals are trying to find, more money for being able to, acquire more properties or put it into our lending business or have more opportunity to do acquisitions, things like that. And then also continuing to grow our network and connections, because that's also a huge place where opportunity comes from as you continue to grow, right? You can keep scaling like your cold marketing, stuff like that, which is great. But ultimately, they say your network is your net worth. Like that's absolutely true, especially once you kind of are somebody or you like have something to be able to give, then obviously at that point, people are more willing to give back as well. And so, I mean, that's a big reason we put on events like this, or like we have the scale community, is we can have people that we have helped facilitate grow and, become good entrepreneurs themselves. And then they are going to be more inclined to like spread the word and bring in more people into the umbrella, which brings more opportunity for everybody. So
absolutely, dude. Like that's such a good value. It's like, and it goes back to also like, it's not who you know, it's who knows you, which I think really relates to why do people want to know you? It's because you're providing value. Like you and I, like we're not uber famous, but there's some people that know us that we don't know because we have a platform on a podcast. And it's like, so when you go into those things in those situations, or you're doing anything and you're saying, what value can I provide? And this is something we talk to people that attend KeysCon or join the scale community. It's like, you may think you don't have value to provide, but by you joining this community, you're going to provide value. Just by you being in real estate in a market, there is a way to provide value to somebody. I mean, it's unbelievable how many times like we get like, hey, does anybody have somebody in this market? I know a guy that needs to offload a deal. And it's like, yeah, raise your hand. Like someone's in that market. And so like, that's the cool thing about being in our community also, because it's across the country. It's in all these different markets. But there's always some value you can provide when you join a group or community, even if you don't think you can. You're like, oh, I'm the new person, I don't know anything. It's like, no, you have something. And so when you recognize that and you realize that, you start providing value. That's when it's kind of like that asymmetric growth at that point. And it's because you are going value first, and people know you as that person who did that for another person, right? And it just helps grow your business and scale your business.
Yeah, well, there's value even in just being a connector like that, right? Like so many people think that they have to have like an immense track record in a specific business to be able to be a valuable asset. But if you just kind of like know people, or you like know people that know people even, like that can go really far. I mean, there's people who build whole businesses off that, right? That they don't actually have the ability or background in whatever they kind of preach, but they know a lot of people that do. And then what they do is they basically just bridge that connection to like the masses of people who want that connection, right?
Totally.
And that doing that at like a network level, I mean, it's a huge thing. It's big focus of what we're doing. So, but so business wise, I mean, said stuff is moving. I mean, I don't think we have any closings this week while we're gone, but we've got a couple acquisitions, and we have like the good thing is we'll be able to go back on Monday and things won't have skipped a beat. They'll just be right back. So anyways, guys, KeysCon, if you are interested in attending in the future, go to collectingkeys.com/scale, and we will teach you how to take your business take your business 7 figures and beyond, teach you how to make massive income, not just passive income in the real estate investing business. And then you can come to the next KeysCon 2025. So anyways, sorry for the awkward ending. We appreciate you guys listening. Share this show with anybody who is interested in real estate or business, and we'll talk to you guys next week. See ya.